Hey everyone, don't get anxious, get prepared. Welcome to our broadcast. I am your career engineer. Don't get anxious, get prepared. And we're going to be talking today about navigating uncertainty, uncommon times, unprecedented times, but so you can stay focused in your career, your life, and your business. All right. So we're going to hit some points for you. We want to make sure that you get all this good stuff. Make sure you look in the ticker below. That's ways you can get real-time alerts and career, business, life tips from me. Just go ahead and text. Well, we have you texting something down there. It's down there. Y'all text that number. But anyway, you'll think I know. I think it's TCE, right? To the thing. But anyway, visit me at tcenow.com. But text TCE to 757-600-0093. Again, text TCE, that's me, to 757-600-0093 to stay on top of all the good stuff that we have going on for you right now. Of course, question or comment about this season, whatever I'm going to say, tips and tricks, hit me up. info@tcenow.com. We might take your question and do a podcast, a TV interview, or something, because it might be a good thing for others to know. Let's jump into the news before I talk about some uncertainties. Let's give you some facts. So the latest jobs report had a national average of 4.1% unemployment, and there were 256,000 new hires. The next report will always come out the first Fridays of the month. So depending on when you're watching this, the first Friday of this month, around 8:30ish, we're going to get the new numbers, and we're all waiting for that. But it's important to see what the data says as we start into how to deal with whatever is coming up. Okay, whatever is coming up. So we're going to hit into, again, talking about some uncertainties. I know at the time of us doing this, there's been a lot of news, there's been a lot of changes, and change can be okay. There's even been folks that will say it's chaotic. I'm just going to say there may be some uncertainty, and it's not uncommon to always have uncertainty in the career, the labor market. So we're going to talk about what we can do to get on top of that. And we're going to first start with mindset. You guys know I'm famous for our TCE push-ups. And when we do them like this. I want you to focus on this push-up this month, in spite of what you see, hear, or feel. Know that if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. You've got the control. You've got the power. I want you to start using it. So let's focus on that as we're dealing with this uncertainty. So one of the first points I want to say, which kind of lines up with the push-up I just gave everyone, you got to keep it positive. I know you're hearing and seeing and clicking and reading things that are making you go, what the ham sandwich is going on? Maintain that positive mindset. You can't operate in fear when you're thinking about your career strategy, your life strategy, or your business strategy, okay? But you have to operate with a plan. So here's the deal. As I say here, you got to overcome fear and embrace the potential growth. Yep, I said growth. Because sometimes when we go through a crisis, or we go through some challenges, or we go through some uncertain times, we find out some stuff that we got in the basement that we've always had, but we never had the opportunity to use. That could be your creativity. It could be your innovation. It could be the way you think. It could be the way you process. It could be something you make with your hands. It could be something that you will do that you never would have done before, or thought about that you never would have thought about before. So it can be a time for some growth internally as well as outside of yourself. So yes, there are uncertain times, but it also makes you do some things and think about some things you never would have done had it not been for this time. But keep that positive and find, if you don't have it, you find people, places, and things that got some, and you need to start collaborating and hanging out with them. Okay. Whether you, and another piece is, whether you meditate or whether you pray, those types of things are things that help you to unburden some of this stuff so you can keep it on the positive. All right. Number two, y'all know every time I say something, I'm talking about that N word, the networking. You've got to expand it. You can't just, if it's the one person you call all the time, last 10 years, 1 year, whatever, you got to expand your network, because connecting with people, places, or things is how we learn about access and opportunity. So let's just do the math. If you have zero connections and you're the only thing that you got going on, look at how exponentially you reduce your opportunities to hear stuff. Because 1 + 1 is well, maybe two, but one and one is one, right? So we have to expand. And I want to elaborate on this. It ain't so much, and I said the word ain't on purpose. It ain't so much about having 500 people you think you know. I'm saying on this little toy right here, this little thing or whatever your thing is, who's in your black book? Yeah, I said the word black book. Who's on your contacts? Who can you call, text? I don't know, Snapchat with, whatever y'all do to get some information, to find out about access. Now, these can be folks in your industry, folks that you're in a member of memberships in some professional organizations, or maybe you're a member of organizations that give you some positivity that your gifts and talents are. Have you asked them, hey, where do you work? Like, I'm in the market for thus and so. I have this skill, thus and so. I'm about to start a new venture, thus and so. Just want to let you all be aware. And if you have a tip or a referral, let me know. And let's talk about it over coffee. So I'm saying you have got to connect with folks. Now, industry, on the job, again, sororities, fraternities, faith communities, there's all places where other people go. You've got to increase. If you're doing 0, I want you to do more. If you've got 5, I want you to do more. And I want to also give you this tip. It's not even just, like I said, about the big numbers. It's about the depth. But these folks that you have real relationship with, how often are you guys breaking bread together or having a cup of coffee or doing some Zooming or some FaceTiming or whatever it is that you do online and offline to build the relationship? That's not just, I need something now and you got it, give it to me, but it's bi-directional. You're helping them, they're helping you, a relationship and an active communication. This is what I mean by going deeper. So if you got some, go deeper with them. It shouldn't be you're reaching out only when you're in need. That ain't networking. That's something else. All right. Point 3 of how do we handle some uncertain times or, just things we ain't never experienced before. I am going to always say this because we have to be forever learners. So in your career and in your life and your business, please stay aware that you're going to have to keep up. You're going to have to step up. You're going to have to tech up. I know there are certain things I find myself complaining about. Why is everything online? Again, I'm comfortable in this space, but I'm also an advocate for people who are not in that space. All right. You got some folks that just aren't there yet. But the point is we all have to strive to be open to learn. So whatever your industry is, whatever skill sets you have, your knowledge and your abilities, please don't think that what you learned 2 years ago is good enough. You're going to have to find ways in person or online, and that's where your networking and all that comes to part, to stay on top of it. Because if you're not on top of it with the latest and how to use the latest, not just I took a class and I got it. Where have you applied the knowledge? Knowledge is great, but applied knowledge is better. We also give that the E word. It's called experience. So we need to make sure that we're embracing skill development. Do your homework and find out what's in demand. Vetted training. Everybody got something that they're training on these days. Find out, make sure it's got some substance with it. It's got some cred before you invest time, talent, or your treasure in that. But you've got to embrace skill development, particularly when it's uncertain. If you got something that folk want, that's called a gig. That's called a job. That's called a paycheck. So let's stay on top of that one. Okay. And the last, but I want just to give y'all 4 points. There are many others, but I think if we can embrace these 4 points, it will help to get some other things in line. And we will be talking all month, particularly to our folks in our SMS community, about other tips and things they can do for times such as these. So cultivate that entrepreneurial mindset. Yes, own the job, even if you're not an entrepreneur. You're not that person that thinks I've got an entrepreneurial gift, but you're working somewhere. You have a job, you have a career, you have some business, you have an opportunity. You've got to think like a business. You have to think about income and outcomes. You've got to think about being more effective, efficient, and accurate. You got to think about sustainability and maintainability and meaningful work. So think of, let's keep it real. I had a meeting with someone the other day, and for me, let's say a meeting is 6:00. Well, I don't get there at 6:00. That's not entrepreneurial mindset. I'm always early for a couple of reasons. I just want to be on time. So I could go between a half hour or 15 minutes for a meeting, but I'm also scoping the space. I'm checking things out. I want to be in control. I got some issues, I know, but I like to know what's going on. It gives me some time to get my mind right for what we're talking about the meeting, because I can't waste time. I don't have time to waste. Time is money. So think about how your value impacts the bottom line of wherever you are. If you don't know your value wherever you are, if you don't see your value, other folks won't see it either. And if time comes to make cuts, those who they don't see the value, feel the value, can show the value on the ledger, tend to be the ones that go bye-bye. Okay. So you've got to keep that entrepreneurial mindset. I'm not trying to stress folks out, but think like a business. Think about what your contribution, what it does to the cash, to the commerce, to the calm of the spaces that you are in. Okay. Very important to understand that. So again, I want to thank you for being a part of our conversation today, navigating these uncertain times and how it can get us through this year or the next year or the next year and moreover. But be aware that uncommon times, challenging times can happen. This is not a new thing. And I can almost bet you've been through some things like this before, right? You've been living long enough. So think about the rescue before or what you did to get through and bring some of that back as well into the conversation. All right. So thank you again for being a part with us. And again, I definitely want to invite you all, I will say it again, to please, of course, subscribe and follow and comment. That does help us to get our world out a little bit more, and so that we can bring this good high value content to folks. Question or comment, please hit me up. info@tcenow.com, info@tcenow.com. And of course, check out our website. We've got some new content for you. And please don't forget for TCE tips and trends and updates, right to your phone. Hit me up, text me, TCE at 757-600-0093. Well, y'all know how we always like to end our broadcast. Don't get anxious, get prepared, and we will catch you next time. Be blessed, stay safe. Thank you for listening. Thanks for watching our Korean British show. I hope you learned a lot about today's topic. If you enjoyed the show, please let me know by visiting our website, tcenow.com, and sending me an email. I'd love to hear from you.